Good morning, School of Light. This is School of Light's Read Through the Bible video series, and just a little bit about School of Light and how we can help is that we have a through the mail Bible correspondence courses for ages as soon as you can read or understand all the way through adult, and they are here just for the asking. So multiple languages, pretty much everyone on earth can, we have everything from Polish to Russian, hopefully I think we may have Middle Eastern and or Arabic. And hey Jasper, good boy. I got this cute dog I was worried about because I let him out this morning. I hadn't seen him since. But we are in 2 Kings chapter 6. The company of prophets said to Elisha, "Look, the place where we met with you is too small for us. Let us go to the Jordan, where each of us can get a pole, and let us build a place there for us to live." And he said, "Go." Then one of them said, "Won't you please come with your servants?" "I will," Elisha replied. And then he went with them. They went to the Jordan and began to cut down trees. As one of them was cutting down a tree, an iron axe head fell into the water. "Oh, my Lord," he cried out, "that was borrowed." The man of God asked, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw it there and made it the iron float. "Lift it out," he said. Then the man reached out his hand and took it. Now the king of Aram was at war with Israel. After conferring with his officers, he said, "I will set up my camp in such and such a place." The man of God sent word to the king of Israel, "Beware of passing that place, because of the Arameans are going down there." So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. Time and again, Elisha warned the king so that he was on guard in such places. This enraged the king of Aram. He summoned his officers and demanded of them, "Will you not tell me which of us is on the side of the king of Israel?" "None of us, my lord, the king," said one of his officers. "But Elisha the prophet, who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom." "Go, find out where he is," the king ordered, "so I can send men and capture him." Then report came back, "He is in Dothan." Then he sent his horses and chariots and a strong force there. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. "Oh, my lord, what shall we do?" the servant asked. "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed, "Oh Lord, open his eyes so he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire around Elisha. Excuse me. I'm going to pause there for a second. He had to peel something, or he had to open his servant's eyes to spiritual warfare, to the spiritual realm. Here it says that there was more horses and chariots than the others, but these ones were of fire. I hope you're on the right side of God, and you're on the side where he will provide the spiritual forces necessary for your victory, for your deliverance, for his plan for you, because he loves you, his lovely plan. We just must lay our alliance with the Lord. As the enemy came down toward him, Elisha prayed to the Lord, "Strike these people with blindness." So he struck them with blindness as Elisha had asked. Elisha told him, "This is not the road, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will lead you to the man you are looking for." And he led them to Samaria. After they entered the city, Elisha said, "Lord, open the eyes of these men so that they can see." Then the Lord opened their eyes, and they looked, and they were inside of Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he asked Elisha, "Shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them?" Do not kill them, he answered. Would you kill men you have captured with your own sword or bow? Set food and water before them, so that they may eat and drink, and then go back to their master. So he prepared a great feast for them, and after they had finished eating and drinking, he sent them away, and they returned to their master. So the bands from Aram stopped raiding Israel's territory. Sometime later, Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, mobilized his entire army, marched up, and laid siege to Samaria. There was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted so long that a donkey's head sold for 80 shekels of silver, and a quarter of a cab of seed pods for 5 shekels. As the king of Israel was passing by on the wall, a woman cried to him, "Help me, my lord, the king." The king replied, "If the Lord does not help you, where can I get help for you? From the threshing floor? From the winepress?" Then he asked her, "What's the matter?" She answered, "This woman said to me, 'Give up your son so we may eat him today, and tomorrow we'll eat my son.' So we cooked my son and ate him. The next day I said to her, 'Give up your son so we may eat him.' But she had hidden him." When the king heard the woman's words, he tore his robes. As he went along the wall, the people looked, and there underneath he had sackcloth on his body. He said, "May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if the head of Elisha, son of Shaphat, remains on his shoulders today." Now Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. The king sent a messenger ahead, but before he arrived, Elisha said to the elders, "Don't you see how this murderer is sending someone to cut off my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door and hold it shut against him. Is not the sound of his master's footsteps behind him?" While he was still talking to them, the messenger came down to him, and the king said, "This disaster is from the Lord. Why should I wait for the Lord any longer?" That's chapter 6. We are now in chapter 7. Oh, wow. How many minutes? Yeah, I try to keep them less than 10 minutes. We're at 7. The Bible says in, is it 1 Psalms? "Blessed is he who does not walk in the way of the wicked, stand in the way of sinners, or sits in the seat of mockers. But his delight is on the law of the Lord, and on God's law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in due season, whose leaves never wither. Whatever he does prospers. Not so the wicked, for they are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assemblies of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish." When I go through these chapters and you hear my voice, something stands out to you, write it down. You're free to write it down, and then meditate on those things. So, like for example, today I read this chapter 6, and of course the spiritual eyes, when Elisha opened his eyes, then Elisha asks God to blind some Arameans. That's pretty interesting. And then they didn't kill these guys. They fed them. They had a big feast, and they sent them back to their master. That was pretty interesting. That there was a famine so severe that people were eating their kids. And it says here that a donkey head was worth so many shekels. Let's see, but forget the donkey right now. I'd like to tabulate the figures there, but it said like 80 shekels of silver. And then these people have such circumstances that they come to an agreement: we'll eat your son today, and tomorrow we'll eat mine. Meditate on these things. So much wisdom. This is not biblical times. This is all times. People are always going to be envious, jealous, fighting, power hungry, things like that. So I hope this finds you well, and God bless. That was 2 Kings chapter 6. Chapter 7 tomorrow.